Bienvenidos a todos los que nos acompañan de nuestra comunidad hispanohablante. Si usted necesita traducción al español, le invitamos que nos acompañe, y un miembro de personal está disponible para traducir a través de línea telefónica. Para unirse a la traducción ahora mismo, por favor marque al número 1-669-900-6833, con el número de identificación 889-5905-1042 y use la clave 094-080. Toda esta información la puede encontrar en nuestra página de internet del Distrito Escolar, visitando www.ssfusd.org y busque bajo la sección de School Board Meetings. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the South San Francisco Unified School District Board of Trustees to order, reconvening into open session. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Wong,
Here.
trustee Shea,
Here.
trustee Murray,
Here.
trustee Richardson, President Lujan.
Present. Thank you. All right, that brings us right into the Pledge of Allegiance. I would love to invite Principal Sampayan and Principal Daniel Libman on up to introduce our Pledge of Allegiance students.
Okay, thanks. All right. For once, it wasn't me. All right. All right. Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Skyline's fifth grade student, Sawyer Franklin. Sawyer lives in South San Francisco with her parents, Jana and Chad, along with her sister Finley and her brother Easton. When talking with all of our teachers, kinder through fifth grade, a common theme showed up. Sawyer is motivated to learn, hardworking, and a friend to all, an amazing big sister, and has a good sense of humor. She's a quiet leader who leads by example. Her fourth grade teacher, Mr. Dumpet, described her as a person who models what it takes to be respectful, responsible, kind, and safe here at Skyline. She loves to play soccer, as you can see, and she currently plays on a team for San Mateo County FC. Some of her favorite things include the color pink, dogs and horses in her family. When she grows up, she'd like to be a designer or play soccer, and I have no doubt that whatever she sets her mind to do, she will do it. Sawyer has a self-proclaimed mission to live life to inspire, create, and spread joy. I've had the privilege of watching her grow and learn throughout her time at Skyline, and I am very proud of her.
Whoa. Thank you for the stool. It is my honor to introduce Isaac Kal-El Magno. According to his teacher, Mrs. Fernandez, Isaac has been asked to lead the pledge for tonight's board meeting and to represent JS because he embodies many of the character traits that our school is encouraging students to have. In fourth grade, he was a class representative in student council and had great ideas to help the school. He enjoys learning languages, cooking art. He is currently learning German just for fun because he was bored and needed something to do. Isaac has a positive outlook on life. Turn around. He has a genuine love of learning and is eager to receive feedback and apply the suggestions if it will make his work better. He is kind and friendly to others. He is able to get along well and can find common interests with even kindergarten and second grade students. He has a great sense of humor and enjoys a good, appropriate for school joke. He is reliable as he can be seen with his attendance and performance in school since kindergarten. This year, he has had perfect attendance so far. He wants to follow the same path and go to Alta Loma Middle School and El Camino High School like his sister Haley, who is now a senior at El Camino. When he grows up, he would like to be an ICU nurse like his mom. Isaac shared that he will miss the liveliness and friendliness of the JS teachers and staff and his fellow Pintos. One great JS memory is when it was so hot in fourth grade, his class had a water day and they were able to play water games in the upper yard, curriculum related. I asked Isaac, what is the secret to success in elementary school? Isaac responded, perseverance. I am proud to watch him grow and for him to lead the pledge tonight.
You guys. There you go. Okay, go ahead, Sawyer.
Good evening. My name is Sawyer.
Good evening. My name is Isaac.
Please stand and get ready for the pledge.
Right hand over your heart.
3, 2, 1, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, we're going to take some pictures with you guys. We're gonna take pictures, okay? Good job. Just down there if you want. So we have Sawyer. I'm going to give this to you. This is your certificate. And you also get this. This is something you can eat. Isaac, thank you too. We're going to take a picture. So come on over here. Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.
Family. Come on.
Thank you so much, Isaac, and thank you so much, Sawyer, for helping getting our meeting started in such a great way. All right, this brings us to item D, Land Acknowledgement Statement. We acknowledge that the South San Francisco Unified School District is located on the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. We wish to pay our respects by acknowledging the ancestors, elders, and relatives of the Ramaytush community and by affirming their sovereign rights as First Peoples. Item E, reporting out from closed session.
During the closed session, the board took action on the district's recommendation to consider the expulsion of one student for one calendar year, case number 2024-2025-1, in accordance with California Education Code Section 48915. Trustee Murray made a motion. Trustee Shea seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken. The vote passed with 4 ayes and 0 noes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hanan. All right, item F, review of agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda this evening? All right, I am not hearing a groundswell of remarks, so we're going to transition right into item G, PTA council remarks. President Kitchen.
Good evening, board. I'd like to introduce Priya Mercado, the president of Juniper Serra, and Aisha Magno, the vice president. Oh, wait, I mixed it up. Aisha is the vice president of Skyline, and Priya is the president of Juniper. I did it again.
She's mine.
I'm gonna read it. I wrote it down. Priya, president of Skyline. Aisha, president of Juniper Serra. Okay.
Good evening, President Luan, trustees, Superintendent Moore, members of the cabinet, and members of the community. My name is Priya Mercado, and I am the president of Skyline PTA. This is my third year volunteering in the PTA and my first year as the PTA president.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Magno, and I am the Executive Vice President of Junipero Serra PTA. This is my 5th year volunteering in the PTA and my first year as VP. We would like to start off by saying thank you to the candidates for School Board Trustee Pat Murray and Amy Lam for attending the PTA Candidate Forum. We invited all candidates to attend, and each candidate was given time to answer questions from the community. The PTA did not endorse a candidate and followed the guidelines of the California State PTA at this forum. We look forward to working with Trustee Murray and Trustee Lam in the future. We have a few upcoming events to highlight for PTAs in the district this month. Many PTAs supported the Ruby Bridges Walk School Day today. We're happy to see many families participating in promoting this event. South San Francisco PTSA is holding a holiday bazaar this Sunday from 11 to 2 p.m. in the cafeteria. Please join to support small businesses this holiday season. And Alta Loma PTA is holding a turkey chop fun run on Tuesday, November 26th. All are invited to come cheer on the students. Now, I'd like to share a little about Junipero Serra PTA. First, I'd like to thank all the Junipero Serra PTA and parent volunteers who are here tonight. Please stand if you're here. Thank you. At Junipero Serra Elementary School, the PTA supports graduate aim impact by promoting the community engagement and collaboration. We just finished our Wacky Walk, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year, raising up to $30,000 to provide walkie radios for all staff members. We also had our annual Halloween happening, which consisted of a costume contest, haunted house, games, trunk or treat. El Camino High School, South San Francisco High School, and Alta Loma Middle School students were generous enough to volunteer at this event, which allowed everyone to have fun. In December, we look forward to Santa's workshop. We will be making Santa hats, games, and other arts and crafts. Now I'll pass it back to Priya, who will share about Skyline PTA.
First, I want to thank all the Skyline PTA and parent volunteers who are here tonight. Please stand if you are here for Skyline. This year, we are very proud of creating our brand new Skyhawk logo and launching our first ever online spiritware store. We hosted our 3rd annual trunk or treat and locked in a community partner to donate our 5th grade promotion t-shirts in May. We are supporting Portrait of a Graduate by keeping it in mind as we move through our community gatherings and events. We kicked off the year with an exciting martial arts performance at Back to School Night, where our community partner, Kalsma Taekwondo, showcased our own Skyline students as they thrived in demonstrating their perseverance, hard work, and focus. This year, our PTA has been making a greater impact by appropriately leveraging social media and creating a Linktree site that is mobile friendly, making news and updates more accessible and instantaneous. This has allowed us to consistently and easily engage with our families, grow our community, deliver results, and make visible the impact we have on one another. Within the first month of school, we had already hit 100 new members. With the help of our brilliant librarian, Michelle Cater, we successfully hosted our fall book fair. This year, our PTA funded our new 1st grade classroom library and continued our annual tradition of teacher reimbursements. By doing this, we hope to lessen the financial burden our teachers face when supplying their classrooms with the updated and relevant teaching tools necessary for their students to not just learn, but grow, navigate, and thrive. And as we look toward late winter and early spring, Skyline PTA is excited to be funding our first ever after-school basketball league. By funding this program, we hope to eliminate any financial burden for potential competitors or their families. We hope to create a chance for those who may not have the privilege or opportunity to do so otherwise, to compete in an environment where they can be encouraged to navigate challenges, work hard, and meet adversity in a safe and friendly environment. As we wrap up fall and winter, we have our free gratitude gram distribution, our Magic Santa visit, a free holiday craft event, and are sponsoring one of Principal Daniel Lippman's 12 days before winter break. To end the school year, we have fun events like an international night, school dance, a free Valentine's Day craft event, and our kinder and 5th grade promotions to look forward to. If there are no questions, that is our report. Thank you, and we hope you all have a nice Thanksgiving break.
Thank you so much. All right, item H, Staff Association Representative Remarks, beginning with South San Francisco Federation of Adult Educators.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Bales-Stutes, President of the South San Francisco Federation of Adult Educators. As the semester progresses, we're hard at work at Adult Ed. It's almost incredible to think that we're only 5 weeks from the winter break. We're in the earliest phases now of preparing for a full WASC visit in the spring of 2026. A lot of things are in flux right now, but we're fully involved as a team in exploring options for building new and exciting programs to better serve our adult community. Stay tuned. I also want to thank Superintendent Moore for including Adult Ed along with CSEA in a 2-on-1 discussions about the needs for our district and ways we can improve our systems to better serve all staff and all students and families. Organizational change is both hard and necessary. It was a fruitful discussion, and I look forward to continued dialogue and cooperation with our sister unions and with district leadership. Now, right now, I'm addressing the board and cabinet, but tonight I really want to address the entire South San Francisco community. It's been 9 days since the election, and we all know it was a contentious and controversial election season. Some community members may be pleased with the results, while others may not. In this time of conflict and division, I want to talk about the things that unite us. Regardless of who sits in the White House or governor's office, and who occupies seat in Congress or the state legislature, we all have certain rights. Under the Constitution that all school district employees swear an oath to defend, we all have the freedom to express our opinions, whatever they may be. The First Amendment protects everyone's right to agree or dissent, to speak out or stay silent, or to sit, stand, or take a knee during the national anthem or the flag salute. Yet words have so much power that even as we exercise our free speech rights, it falls on us to choose our words wisely and speak with respect. As Americans, we also have the right peaceably to assemble and to petition our government for a redress of grievances. In this space, that may mean members of the South San Francisco community come before this board, just as we can come before any other governing body to complain or criticize and to ask our leaders to do better. I hope that going forward, everyone in our district community will continue to hold the interests of our students, from the youngest to the oldest, above all other considerations. That means protecting the rights of all students, no matter their race, color, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. national origin, religion, age, political leanings, or any other characteristic. All people have the right to learn in an atmosphere that is free from discrimination, intimidation, bullying, or bigotry. Thank you for your attention. I wish you a good Thanksgiving break.
Thank you so much for your comments this evening. Next, South San Francisco Classroom Teachers Association.
Good evening, trustees, cabinet, and South San Francisco Unified School District community members. It is hard to believe it is midway through November and the election is behind us. I want to offer my congratulations to Pat Murray for her reelection to the board. And to our soon-to-be new school board member, Amy Lamb. I look forward to working with both of you. Now that the election is behind us, it is time to dig in and get to work on making SSFUSD a great place to learn and work. I know the school district has these goals present in mind and based on the work being done to implement its strategic plan. As we strive to realize these goals, I implore you to also keep in mind that educators are a big part of the strategic plan because we know that keeping and recruiting great educators is a huge part of how effectively our students experience learning. It is my job, though, to report how this is going from the teachers' perspectives. We are still hoping to build trust in many ways with different school district departments. Right now, at least 3 grievances have been filed with the district, 2 involving pay. We also had an issue with language from our most recent tentative agreement on class size overage stipends not getting paid in a timely manner. These grievances will be paid, mostly as we requested, but trust was broken before the grievances were even filed. We have another issue on the horizon that will need to be solved regarding pay. You see, the school district is placing our new educators on the salary schedule in a way that is different than what the teachers and SSF CTA see as proper placement. Last year, I could count on my hand the number of people that reached out regarding placement on the salary schedule. Unfortunately, this year, there are too many new teachers who have said they have been placed unfairly to even count on my fingers and toes. Whether this will have to be worked out in bargaining or through grievances, we are still trying to determine the best course of action. But if we want these educators to stay, then we need to address this quickly because many want to leave to other districts where the number of units they have would not place them in a lower paying column. Many have seen what has happened in San Francisco regarding educators not getting paid correctly. Due to this newsworthy problem, many teachers left. Our educators love SSFUSD because of the students and families they work with. But they will not stay if the right thing to do for their families is to go to a higher paying district, especially when they must survive in such an expensive area. Please work with SSF CTA in rectifying the situation before our new educators are forced elsewhere. Thank you. Have a great November.
Thank you for your comments. Our next representative from California School Employees Association, Chapter 197.
Thank you, President Lujan, honorable trustees, Superintendent Moore, and cabinet audience. First, I'd like to congratulate Trustee Murray on her reelection. It's obvious with her landslide victory that her past hard work and commitment to our school district does not go unnoticed by staff and community voters. Congratulations, Trustee Murray. My thanks to Mr. Hanan and Ms. Smith for working with CSEA on the need for paras in our district. The recent MOU ratification vote regarding stipends for our paraprofessionals passed overwhelmingly with great CSEA member support. I'm hoping to continue my quest to attract and retain more paraprofessionals for our school district. Our students and teachers need that extra support in the classroom. And finally, mark your calendars, CSEA 197 is having another Toy Drive Fiesta at Chevy's on December 11th to collect Christmas toys and gather monetary donations for our community's children. We work in connection with the fire department and South San Francisco Police. You are all invited, and I will be sending out email invitations to everyone. We will have the photographers back for Picture This for Fun back again this year. So everybody has free photos of the event. That's my report, and I'm wishing everyone a blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Item I, Personnel Commission.
Our next Personnel Commission meeting will be held on Monday, November 18th, 2024 at 5:00 p.m. in the district office boardroom.
Thank you. All right, item J, items from the board. Do we have any announcement, board calendar, or board committee report updates?
I just wanted to announce to the fellow board members that next Monday, there will be a teacher retention workshop at 6 p.m. And it would be a nice if we all showed up to learn about this problem that all districts are having and give the board an added information. And I know we hear about all of the recruiting and so forth, but we need to hear more from the other side and how that's going. And I'll see you there.
Thank you, Trustee Richardson. I have an announcement or a comment from Vice President Amanda Anthony with regard to a public comment she made at a City of South San Francisco City Council meeting on September 25th that she would like me to read into the record since she's not able to be here this evening. So what she'd like me to share is, to the South San Francisco Unified School District community, I wanted to clarify my position. I made a public comment at the South San Francisco City Council meeting on September 25th. I was speaking on behalf of myself, Amanda Anthony, as an individual, and not on behalf of the South San Francisco Unified School District Board of Trustees. I regret not clarifying that fact during my public comments, but I wanted to clear the air and any misunderstandings. My SSFUSD email is very public. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. All right, and that brings us to item K, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you very much, President Lujan. Members of the school board, cabinet, a representative from Senator Becker's office, the mayor of South San Francisco, and other city and county dignitaries joined staff and students today on our Ruby Bridges Walk to School. In the 2017 and 18 school year, retired Martin Elementary School teacher Deborah Carlino's fifth graders learned of Mrs. Bridges during African American History Month. Once they learned that there wasn't a day to celebrate her, they began a petition to establish one and collected over 1,000 signatures. The students received approval from the district, the city, and the San Mateo County Office of Education for this special day. In 2021, State Senator Josh Becker sponsored a resolution to make the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day a statewide observance. Our community once again has come together to show support for district students, and we appreciate the support of the South San Francisco Police Department, who ensured the safety of our community this morning. Congratulations again to Martin Elementary School students and Mrs. Carlino, who has since retired, for her ability to inspire current and future generations of students to think critically, to ask questions, and to push for change to make the world a better place.
My next item is also around some claims that have been made. And so at several recent board meetings lately, concerns have been raised about the potential misuse of ASB funds by members of the South San Francisco high school community. In 2019, our district and school staff took these claims seriously, conducting a thorough review of the matter. After a comprehensive investigation, we found no evidence of inappropriate use of funds. When these allegations resurfaced recently, we once again took proactive steps to re-examine the situation. We consulted with district office staff, reached out to former administrators, and engaged members of the Parent-Teacher Student Association to ensure a well-informed understanding of the issue. Our findings remain consistent with those from 2019. There was a $4,000 amount from ASB to the PTSA demonstrated by our records to reimburse transportation costs related to a student trip, an expense that was approved to reduce costs and allow more students to participate in the event. The expenditure did adhere to ASB guidelines with all necessary approvals in place, and there was no evidence to suggest any misappropriation of funds by the PTSA, South San Francisco High School, ASB, or the school district. What I also wanted to say is we remain absolutely committed to transparency and fiscal responsibility. Moving forward, we will continue collaborating with our auditors to monitor our ASB and all other accounts rigorously. Additionally, we are encouraging and reminding our school leaders to remain vigilant and ensure that ASB expenditures always align with the established guidelines. I also want to express my appreciation to the members of our community who are advocating for accountability and equity in how we manage our resources. Your dedication to our students' well-being and your commitment to upholding transparency are deeply valued. Very soon, we will be celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday. I too want to express my deepest gratitude for the big and small gifts, privileges, opportunities, and people with whom we are connected. I remain humbled to be in a community where we treasure, value, and celebrate the lives of one another as human beings, where we uplift and respect one another's beliefs and values and perspectives despite divergent viewpoints. And I am grateful that we embrace others with love and respect. I appreciate the resiliency of our community, a community where authentic relationships do truly matter, and where we absolutely value that of educational equity and have an unwavering belief in all of our students. So as we indulge in holiday feasts in a couple of weeks from now, let us remember to stop, to be thankful for the relationships that have been cultivated, the opportunities and experiences we are privileged to enjoy, and the access and ability to be part of a diverse community where we support and lift each other up despite our differences. Though we aren't always able to have control over what's happening in the world around us, we do have control over how we respond. So I hope that we will continue to treat each other with kindness and come together as one unified community. And my last item is a strategic plan progress update. This is our first year that we have launched our strategic plan, and it is really important for us that we publicly report out on our progress to hold ourselves accountable to what we promised to our community. Next slide, please. So I'm excited to talk about the collective efforts that our district is taking to bring our strategic plan to life. This plan was co-created with our community and outlines the vision we have for student success. This is our portrait of a graduate, our CARE core values, and our strategic priority initiatives, which is what we are focusing on to really make our vision a reality for every single student that we serve. Next slide, please. Today, I'm going to show you the concrete action steps that we are taking to implement the strategic plan and report very briefly on our progress. This slide illustrates our scoreboard, which is essentially our project management framework that we are using to highlight the goals for the year in order to share with our teams and the broader community. This year, we are focusing specifically on strategic priorities 1 and 5, exceptional instruction and equity-centered systems, those that are highlighted. However, we also have goals and priorities 2, 3, and 4, and we're in the planning phases this year. Each of the bullet points that you see represents a strategic priority initiative from the plan that we are tackling this year. And every year, we will have a set of focused priorities from our 5-year strategic plan, and they build on each other to help us ensure that when our students leave our schools, they will leave ready to be lifelong learners who know how to impact their communities, who know how to navigate life's challenges, and who are well prepared to thrive as individuals. Along with this high-level view, we also have a more detailed implementation plan that really guide our staff's daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly work. Next slide, please. So this is our tracker, and this is what we reflect on internally and monitor our progress during our quarterly step back meetings. The tracker shows our progress for each strategic priority as of October 31st. These are the first set of actions that our district said we wanted to tackle. In some areas, we are making strong progress, and that is represented by the green. In others, we may be encountering some challenges, or we're still thinking about the best ways to move forward. Those might be reflected by colors yellow or red. The colors represent whether or not we have met the benchmarks that we have set on all of the actions that we've outlined that needed to be completed by October 31st. It is essential for our team to look at the actions that we have taken and be honest and transparent about our progress, which helps us to really focus on the real needs and the potential supports. Rather than solely aiming for all green status, we really want to make sure what we're doing is implementing at a high level. Of course, we'd love to see all areas on track, but it also allows us to identify opportunities for growth and provide additional support in order to lead to stronger outcomes for our students. Next slide, please. This is the second page of the goals and colors that represent whether or not we were successful by October 31st. And as we move forward with implementation, we are committed to continuing to bring back this information for our community and provide periodic updates. For those who want to look more closely, this presentation has been posted on the district website in the same place that you can access our board agenda or review the minutes. And so if we invite you to look at that, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We just wanted to give our board and our community an update on the work that we have been doing and be very transparent, because this is something that we promise to our community. We want to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to doing that. So thank you so much. We have some invited guests who came here who've been very helpful in the implementation. Thank you for being here. I will, of course, entertain any questions, but if there are none, then that will conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Do we have any questions? All right, item L, student trustee reports, beginning with student trustee Wong.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, and audience at home and audience present. My name is Jamie Wong, and I'm currently a senior serving as the ASB president at El Camino High School and the fall student trustee. I hope everyone has been well as we are entering the winter season. Starting off with our senior spotlights, on October 17th, after 10 long years, El Camino's girls golf team wins the rivalry match and trophy against South City, breaking the streak and returning the trophy back to its home. The match came very close, 223 to 222, with the Colts winning by one singular stroke.
Wow.
Good job to our medalist, Saoirse Price, leading the team to a win and scoring a 34. Also to our only senior, Michaela Levine, for an outstanding senior night performance. And congratulations to all of our Lady Colts, as you have all worked so hard this season and deserved this win. On October 24th, we celebrated senior night for our Lady Colts in volleyball and tennis. With their wins against Terra Nova and Cappuccino, our Colts ended off their nights with the celebration. Congratulations to our volleyball seniors, Rihanna Pedersen, Haley Magno, Giselle Boder, Jasmine Duwong, and Kisa Tordil, and our tennis seniors, Eva Tamayo, Madison Wu, Zoe Ng, Scarlett Tong, Ali Tunke, Yasmin Juhar, Sarihi Avila, Samantha Fang, and Sydney Abelos. We are incredibly proud of all of their hard work and dedication throughout the years. Here's to a successful season and an unforgettable night. This one will be a long one, but on November 1st, we celebrated football and cheer senior night, honoring the dedication and hard work of our incredible seniors. A huge thank you to our football seniors, Nathan Forrester, Mickey Rosario, Hayden Hui, Noah Flores, Esteban Cabrera, Rocco Bramagen, Juan Carlo Duenas, Christian Asensio, Caleb Olivares, Devin Nava De Natali, Elijah Luciano, Randy Coca Latisse, Sergio Alfaro, Cesar Ramirez, Mauricio Garcia, Ryan Bolantini, and Jaden Sabater, who is currently shadowing our athletic trainer, Miss Gina. These athletes displayed unwavering pride and strength, keeping their heads and spirits high through a challenging season. And to our cheer seniors, Jamie Wong, Isabella Rodriguez, Sarai Ramos, Lauren Reyes, Leonela Silva, Maxine Bonduc, Sienna Diaz, Evangeline Gorostiza, Destiny Canas, and Eduardo Marino have cheered us on tirelessly, lifting our crowd and team whenever and wherever needed. And lastly, moving on to our cross-country seniors, congratulations to Darren Ye, Lola Castro, Kyle Latoan, and Stevie Renz as they officially finished off their season. Thank you for all of your hard work, dedication, and for inspiring the rest of the runners on the team. Your impact on this team will always be remembered. And again, to all of our senior athletes in the fall season, we are incredibly grateful for their commitment to Colt Pride and wish them the best in all of their future endeavors, knowing they will continue to inspire and represent our community with pride. On October 26th, we successfully held our fall festival as our community came together for a fantastic evening of fun and festivities. Families and kids filled the campus with the cafeteria packed with games and prizes, and our food fundraiser selling out quickly. The courtyard was alive with energy, featuring live music from a local band, a performance by Advanced Placement Dance Program, and even a lively karaoke session. One of the biggest hits of the night was the haunted hallway in the academic building, hosted by our talented drama club, which had a line of eager visitors all evening long. A special shout out to our ASB chairperson, Michaela Levine, as she planned this event and used her connections to make the night a spooky and special one. Thank you to everyone who came out and to our incredible clubs and leadership team for making it an unforgettable night. Our annual bell game against our rivals, South City, happened this past Saturday, which was a hard-fought match, and while we didn't get the outcome we hoped for, we are incredibly proud of our Colts for their resilience and determination, giving it their all until the final whistle. Congratulations to the Warriors on winning the bell and for their outstanding season. We wish them the best as they advance to the CCS Division V quarterfinals, representing our South San Francisco community with pride. On December 6th, our winter rally is set as we will have a spirit week to hype up this event. Our ASB has been hard at work for weeks to create an unforgettable experience filled with holiday spirit, from planning games and performances to organizing festive surprises. They've put their all into making this rally a celebration to remember. Get ready for our Power Puff game tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Colt Field. Come cheer on our Lady Colts as they go head-to-head in an exciting game under the lights. Boba will be available from our senior office, and concessions will be sold by our Student Store Commission. Don't miss out on the fun and come out and show your support. Join us for our fall musical, Legally Blonde, running next week from November 21st to the 24th. Showtimes are Thursday through Saturday at 7 p.m. and a matinee on Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets are available at r.show/ECHS Legally Blonde, with special pricing for students and seniors at $10 and general admission at $15. We invite everyone to come out and support our talented drama department in their annual music production, featuring live music from our incredible pit orchestra. Don't miss this chance to celebrate and enjoy an evening of outstanding performing arts. This week, we're excited to spotlight Ms. Stevenson as our staff member of the week and Zachary Fung as our Colt of the week. Ms. Stevenson is an incredible teacher who cares deeply about her students. She's not only a brilliant educator, but also a mentor and confidence booster to everyone she encounters. Her positive energy lights up every room, and she has helped countless students come out of their shells and express themselves freely. Zachary Fung is a junior who is a standout student with his sights set on the STEM field. As an officer for several STEM-related clubs, his curiosity and drive to learn more about the ever-changing worlds truly sets him apart. His passion for community-focused research demonstrates his dedication to making a positive impact. Both Ms. Stevenson and Zachary continue to inspire us with their hard work and spirit, making our Colt family proud. And finally, I would like to wish all the seniors in our community the very best of luck as college application deadlines are approaching. This is a big milestone, and I want to remind each and every one of you how appreciated and valued you are. Remember that grades and scores do not define your worth. You are all amazing individuals with unique talents and potential. Take this time to focus on yourselves, stay confident, and trust the hard work you've put in. Once again, good luck to all of my seniors. And lastly, apologies for the hefty report, but that concludes my report. And unless there are any other questions or concerns, I'd like to thank you all for listening. I hope everyone has an amazing and toasty Thanksgiving break.
Exciting time coming up. Yes. I want to go to the Powder Puff at Colts Field. What is that?
It's basically a flag football game that will be performed by Our Lady Colts. So any girls from any grades will be able to participate in this event tomorrow night.
Wow, that's great. You know the time?
It'll be from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to invite Student Trustee Harsana on up.
Good evening, board, cabinet, and community. My name is Josephine, and I'm honored to represent South San Francisco High School as this year's ASB president. I hope everyone has been doing well these past couple of weeks, and I'm glad to be back. This fall has been a busy time for our ASB, as I know it has been for the rest of the school. Our homecoming week concluded on October 19th with our homecoming dance on that Saturday. We would like to thank our PTSA for their support and donations for this dance, as this event would not have been such a success without all of their help. Also, congratulations to the senior class for winning the homecoming class competition for the second year in a row. As for ASB's School Community Commission, they hosted our annual Fall Fest, which was held during lunch on Wednesday, October 31st. A Halloween costume contest was also hosted by our ASB Rallies Commission at the same time. Many students had a blast participating in our pie eating contest and slime making stations, while many took the opportunity to pie our economics teacher, Mr. Kelly. Although the students had an amazing time, Mr. Kelly probably did not have as much fun having rounds of whipped cream smashed into his face. However, this was the perfect way for our school community to come together and celebrate in their fall spirit. On Wednesday, October 30th, that was Earth Club's annual Dinner in the Dark, which took place in South City's outdoor learning space for the 4th year in a row. This year's theme was Halloween, and community members attending were invited to dress up in costumes. As guests dined on Italian food made by club members, they could also enjoy a band performance, as well as other festivities such as pumpkin painting, game stations, and many more. This was an amazing opportunity for our community to bond and enjoy a delicious meal in an amazing atmosphere. Furthermore, our Sports and Store Commission has been hard at work at promoting school spirit in our student sections. The annual bell game took place last Saturday, November 9th, at home on South City's Clifford Field. The Warriors beat the Colts in both the JV and varsity game, with the varsity's final score being 50-14. It was an exciting time for our Warriors as we managed to keep the bell where it belongs. Go Warriors! Many supporters were seen sporting our new bell game merchandise, which were being sold at the game. School spirit was at an all-time high in the stands as our student section was a sea of blue and white, blending in with the numerous posters we put out, all in support of our Warriors. As our fall sports come to a close, we'd like to acknowledge and commend all of the hard work our student athletes have put into their seasons. We're especially proud of our football team for their title as league champions and for advancing to CCS for a chance to aim for the repeat title of CCS champions. Tomorrow, our Warriors will face Gunderson in the CCS quarterfinals. Be sure to come on out to South City's varsity football game to come support our Warriors at 7 p.m. We are so thankful for the South City football team for boosting the values of Portrait of a Graduate on campus. Their successes throughout the season have lifted school spirit and built a better sense of community. And as for our drama department, our fall play, Much Ado About Nothing, has their opening night tonight. The show will continue to play tomorrow and Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $10 for general admission and $6 for students. We invite everyone to come on out and support our drama department. And in the beginning of November, our student body had the opportunity to enjoy performances by our folkloric program in celebration of Dia de los Muertos. Students of all cultures had the opportunity to rejoice, celebrate, and learn more about this event, as well as get the opportunity to enjoy a number of delicious foods and drinks. We'd like to highlight all of the hard work the folkloric program has put into this and all that they have done to build our community closer. And with that, let me know if there are any questions, and if not, that finalizes my report. Thank you so much.
Student trustee Harsana, I think we actually have a question.
Can one buy tickets at the door for the drama tomorrow at 6:30?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, this brings us to item M, public comments. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Name and address cards are in the back of the room. I will call upon individuals in random order who have requested to speak. Each person may only speak once and is required to address the board from the podium. The meeting is recorded and streamed live. Individuals may address the board concerning school business not on the agenda, but public comment cannot be acted upon or discussed by the board unless placed on an agenda at a subsequent meeting in accordance with the law, the Brown Act. We may request staff to respond orally at the meeting or in writing at a future time. So my first comment card this evening is for Julie Ulmer.
Oh, thanks. I'm throwing my stuff all over the floor.
Hi, good evening. I came to support my lovely principal in our school, and I heard at the same time you wanted to hear about the math pilot. I teach 3rd grade at Skyline, and I want to tell you how much I love the math curriculum. My students are constantly engaged. They look forward to math. Today, I heard them talking, and I quickly wrote down what they said about how much they liked it. It's fun. I said, why? And they said, because it's fun and challenging. There's huge student engagement. There's always space for academic discourse. They're doing the talking. And it is amazing to hear what they come up with. I'm astounded. Our 5th grade teacher, Carolyn Selvey, is also piloting, and she also is very positive. She was talking today about learning with 3D models, dividing decimal models she'd never done before, and she said her kids really responded well to it. I just started teaching rounding yesterday, and I used to teach 4th grade also at Skyline, and to see how it's introduced from our previous math expressions to now, it's just, they truly are understanding it. It's not perfect. There are, just from my first year teaching, and I see a few things that I would probably spend more time on or less time on, but I would like to invite you all, if you ever want to come watch in my classroom, you are welcome to. The teaching manual is incredibly friendly. It's well scripted. There's a slide for each lesson, and it's really clear. There are checkpoints to make sure that the students are understanding every 5 or 6 lessons, depending on what you're doing. Maybe more, maybe fewer, but I am really enjoying piloting it, and I wanted to be positive and let you know how positive I feel about it. So thank you all. Thank you all for all your time and all you give to our school districts. It's not an easy job. So thank you all.
Thank you so much for your comments. Our next speaker this evening is Michael Harris.
That's okay. Thanks. Sure? Yeah. Good evening, Madam President. Again, petitioned the board with the ongoing problem at Berry School. The corridor between Alta Mesa Drive, starting to the north on South Cliff, to the south on El Campo Drive is still a mess. I've cleaned a lot of it myself. This is getting harder and harder. I'd appreciate it if Ted O could take this on. I talked to Unjun Kim this week, 2 days ago, and he realizes they have a code enforcement problem. They're down to 2 people on code enforcement and then another that's only there part-time. On my own, from my own backyard, my friends and I have moved about 20,000 pounds of concrete over the last 2 weeks. By Monday, I hope to move another 8,000 pounds. This work gets harder and harder. I can no longer clear 8 lots behind my property, adjacent to the school property. Some help would be appreciated. I realize you're short-staffed. Wazi has worked on some of this. Inside your fence, it looks really good, both the slope and then the playing field that the school, that the city maintains are in good shape right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments this evening. All right, and our last card this evening is Megan Connery.
Good evening, Megan Connery, El Camino High School. Thanks, Mary. So first of all, congratulations to Trustee Murray. Yay. Every time. And then a couple of things. First of all, it was a yellow card because I'm actually on topic today. So I am on the list of people who are hopefully going to the math conference at the beginning of December. So I would really appreciate a yes vote because I've never actually gone to a math conference. So that would be, yeah, that'd be yay. And then compliments on November 1st. We had a really good time in the morning with the math pilot and learning stuff on that. And then we did a session on learning about the math framework. I think we need a little bit more time on that, actually, to be honest. And then Dr. Hugh did an amazing job on the graduation requirements. And we had a very heated discussion, but it was good discussion on all of the ideas that the teachers had for it. So I think that was a good progressive discussion. And I think hopefully she'll let you guys know how that said from the teacher side. And then the math pilot, we're progressing along. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hit the end of unit 3 before the final exam, and then we have 4 more units next semester. So I'm a little worried about time, but we'll work on that. It is a different experience at the high school than the elementary. So I'm very happy to hear that the elementary is having an excellent experience. In the high school, we don't have all the bells and whistles. And so it's a lot more reading for the teachers to get the lesson out. But other than that, the pilot's going well. We had a good time on November 1st. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments this evening. Okay, this brings us to item N, information only presentations, beginning first with a teaching and learning presentation from Junipero Elementary School.
I don't know what to say. Thank you. Good evening, President Lujan, Trustee Murray, Trustee Shea, Trustee Richardson, Dr. Moore, Cabinet, student trustees, SSFUSD community, Skyline Hawks, and JS Pintos. My name is Teresa Sampayan. I am the proud principal of Junipero Elementary School, home of the Pintos. Tonight, I will share with you some of the wonderful things happening at JS. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Oh, sure. No. Is that okay? Oh, no, whatever. Is that okay? Sorry, I was unclear. Oh, can I do it? Okay. Thank you to Dr. Moore who reviewed these slides for me on the strategic plan, our core values, and the portrait of the graduate. Our portrait of a graduate vision is our commitment to our students that they will have an opportunity to develop 4 graduate aims and describe students who will learn constantly as their life and world change, navigate their futures purposefully, thrive as a person, and impact their communities for the better. Dr. Moore, thank you for going over the strategic plan priorities, the 5 priorities over the next 5 years. Our JS priorities are aligned with the strategic plan and portrait of a graduate. They are centered around our strategic priorities as we continue to work on strengthening the instructional capacity with a focus on math achievement, ELD, and academic discourse. We are committed to the emotional well-being of our Pintos. We at JS are dedicated to raising the whole child. Last year, we reimagined JS. We are committed to being the top performing school in the district with the lowest absenteeism rate, with happy and respectful Pintos and staff in a safe, positive learning and working environment. Looking at our student demographics, we have 286 students in K-5. In addition, we have 14 preschool Pintos. 22% of our students are multilingual learners, 24% of our students with disabilities, and 38% of our Pintos are socially, economically disadvantaged. The majority of our students are Filipino, Hispanic or Latinx, and Asian. Here is a snapshot of our attendance data until 10/27/2024. About 75% of our Pintos have an attendance rate of over 95%. The box on the right breaks down attendance rate by grade level. Here is the attendance comparison for the 22-23 school year, the 23-24 school year, and the first 3 months of this school year. The top section shows average daily attendance rates, while the bottom section shows chronic absenteeism rates by month. Orange is moderately chronic, yellow signifies at risk for chronic absenteeism, and green is where we want to be. As you can see, JS attendance rate has increased over this time frame. Last year, we were gifted a full-time attendance clerk, Mrs. Nicole Kim. Our improved attendance is attributed to not only our dedicated teachers who stress the importance of attendance, but both Mrs. Kim and Mrs. Dela Cruz, our admin assistant, who make daily phone calls to families of students who are absent and schedule attendance SAT meetings. In addition, we have made some home visits as well. Here is comparison data for the CASP summative for the past 3 years. The graph shows the percentages of students meeting or exceeding grade level standards in ELA, math, and science. While there were slight decreases in both ELA and math, there was an increase in science. The graph shows both our strengths and opportunities for growth and the need for extra supports. Here is our JS CASP data disaggregated by student groups. The graph shows the percentage of students meeting or exceeding grade level standards in ELA, math, and science. While we recognize celebrations, we also know that we have room for growth in addressing the needs of our Pintos. Learning needs are identified through data analysis and addressed in targeted small group instruction. Additional supports and instructional strategies are identified through the collaborative inquiry cycle. Oops. This slide shows beginning of the year school-wide data for DIBELS. As you can see, there are more students in the green and the blue performing at or above benchmark for the beginning of the year. The data is used by our teachers to identify strengths and specific literacy needs of our students. The purpose of the data collection and analysis is to provide strategic supports to students that demonstrate the need. The needs are then addressed in both in-class and/or pull-out intervention. Progress monitoring is performed on students meeting specific criteria, and growth is also measured during the middle of the year and end-of-the-year benchmark windows. Last year, JS used ESSER and STIPE funds to hire a 0.75 full-time math interventionist, along with Tier 1 whole group exceptional instruction, Tier 2 in-class small group intervention, and pull-out math intervention from the math interventionist last year. We showed an increase of 25 percentage points for students performing on or above grade level from beginning of the year to end of the year as measured by IXL assessments. This year, with no more ESSER funds left, the district is funding a 0.5 FTE math interventionist. Unfortunately, we've had zero as applicants, as a half-time position is hard to fill. Beginning of the year, IXL data showed 66% of our Pintos on or above grade level. That's 19 percentage points more than the beginning of last year's IXL scores. JS teachers are committed to Tier 1 exceptional instruction and providing small group intervention in class. However, without a math interventionist, the load is much heavier. The support from the district to fund a full-time interventionist could greatly benefit our Pintos. Here is the data from IXL at the beginning of the year, snapshot broken down by grade level. IXL is used to monitor growth 3 times a year, beginning, middle, and end of the year. Data from the snapshot administered at the beginning of the year is used to identify students' math strengths and their needs. Like DIBELS, the data is used by our teachers to identify strengths and specific math needs from our students. The purpose of the data collection and analysis is to provide strategic supports to students who show need and to enhance learning for those Pintos who have mastered skills and concepts. In addition to the diagnostic snapshot monitoring growth 3 times a year, students complete the real-time diagnostic for 10 minutes a week to monitor progress for targeted small group instruction. The LPAC summative data from last spring shows growth over 1 year. Last year, our goal for English language development was that 33% of ELs or MLs will improve by 1 level as measured by the LPAC. As you can see, we met the goal with 47% of our MLs making 1 to 2 levels of growth in their overall English language proficiency. And this year, we will continue to focus on strengthening our ELD instruction. During grade level collaboration, teachers dive into data. As stated in the previous slides from assessments like DIBELS and IXL, we analyze to identify student strengths and needs. Instructional strategies and supports are provided to address these needs. Here are some of the resources that are used to support students' learning needs. And the pictures capture some small group instruction in the classroom. At the beginning of the year, each member of our team made a commitment to bring the portrait of the graduate to life at JS. In addition to what we shared at grade level collaboration at our November 1st professional development, here are some ways that the POG awareness is happening at JS. At the main entrance, we have the portrait of a Pinto side by side with portrait of a graduate to show our Pintos what they have to look forward to graduating from our South City high schools or El Camino high schools. In our Pinto press, we gave information about the Pinto of the portrait of a graduate to our parents. In a fall conferences, teachers shared a little blurb about the portrait of a graduate. And then at the very beginning of the year, each teacher and each staff member did a call to action and a promise to try out a POG activity this year. One of our graduate aims is learn. Engaged Pintos learn constantly as their lives and worlds change. The lessons observed show that Pintos embrace a growth mindset and love of learning by seeking understanding, asking questions, and using data and evidence. In addition, Pintos explore their creativity and find new and innovative ways to problem solve. In a Kinder Apple orchard activity, kindergartens were given items to be resourceful and create tools to harvest apples. They were given the problem and came up with a solution by themselves. We see fifth graders engaging in the scientific method, first graders exploring the life cycle of mosquitoes, and second graders creating land formations with dough. A fourth grade explaining the order of fractions, and fifth graders working collaboratively to match expressions with area models. Lastly, we nurture growth mindset, and last month recognized those students who best demonstrated growth mindset at school. JS Pintos thrive as humans. At JS, we believe in raising the whole child and focus also on character development of each Pinto. We intentionally connect home and school as we communicate with families the importance of this. At back to school night, families are encouraged to provide words of encouragement to their children for a successful school year. We teach self-awareness and focus on mental and physical well-being. We have continued the implementation of zones of regulation school-wide as we provide a common language, tools, and visuals for self-regulation in our Pintos. Under the picture, under the caption in the picture, overcoming obstacles, this demonstrates the impact of nurturing character traits that we had on our Pintos. On Chalk Day this year, a student wrote, "Never give up." At the beginning of the year, fourth grade students choose quotes such as "Nothing is impossible," decorate them, and hang them up in their classroom as inspiration. Now in its second year, La Garza provides PE 2 times a week, ensuring that the students get structured exercise during the school day. The district's partnership with YSB is much needed and much used, so thank you and much appreciated. Over the past 2 years, we've served approximately 25 students during this time. At JS, our Pintos are happy because they have a deep sense of belonging, which is very important to every human. Our community's commitment to the success of our Pintos. Today, we participated in the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. JS PTA provides social events, and Haley, Isaac's sister, organized our El Camino High School volunteers to support Halloween happening and Spaghetti Social. The Girls on the Run completed the program, culminating in a 5K on 11/2 of this month. In the spring, we will celebrate diversity with our Autism Awareness Month. And we could not do it without the support of our JS volunteers, our JS PTA, and our school site council. They have supported us in countless ways, keeping our students and families safe when crossing the street, hosting community events, funding initiatives such as filling our library shelves, helping us purchase interactive TVs, providing assemblies, and providing sponsorships to students to attend field trips and outdoor ed. They have also sponsored school enrichment clubs. Please stand when I call your names. Let's see who's here. Mr. Will Lee, Mrs. Huang Nguyen, and Mr. Diocampo. Please stand. Did I miss anybody else? Thank you, Jess, for your hard work. And I'll have to also thank the Magnos because they have been, over the last how many years, been such a big volunteer. They have made a difference at JS. Despite whatever challenges the world may bring, the team has always kept our Pintos at the center of our focus, going above and beyond to make sure that they achieve, they excel, while providing students the opportunity to not only build and enhance personal character, but also to build and enhance a sense of community. John Gordon once said, "A team that believes together achieves together." I remember the words of Dr. Moore. Believe in the collective capacity of our organization to succeed. Believe together we accomplish great things. We at JS truly believe in each other, and we truly believe that together we can accomplish great things. Team Pintos, please stand. Thank you, Team Pintos, for your resilience, your courage to care so deeply for our Pintos, for each other, for your openness to learn, and for your capacity to effectively teach and to build up our Pintos. I applaud you and your hard work. I am thankful for our community and exceptional staff and very kind Pintos. Thank you, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, Dr. Moore, for the opportunity to share a little bit about JS. I'm so grateful and proud and honored to be a member of the South San Francisco Unified School District community and family. Thank you. I think it's open for questions.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentations. My colleagues, do you have questions or comments for Principal Sampayan?
I have just have a comment. Thank you so much for your great presentation, as always. You demonstrate a commitment to the accountability and continuous improvement. This level of openness is crucial for foster trust, and you demonstrate that, and collaboration within our educational community. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Shea. Appreciate it.
Hi, Principal Sampayan. I couldn't wait for you to get back to your students because they missed you, and I'm sure you missed them. And I really appreciate all the hard work that our PTA does, and the dads too. I don't want to forget them. Usually you think PTA is all moms, but I increasingly see more dads, and I'm so happy to see that. And I went to your Autism Awareness Day, and everything's just so well organized, and I appreciate just being there, the energy the children bring. It's amazing. So I want to thank you for your presentation. It looks like school is a very nice place to go to at JS. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Richardson.
Well, I was going to wait until later. Both of you are in my district, so the people in your schools are the people that voted me back in, and I am so appreciative. I'm appreciative of the teachers and the staff that supported me. I am so grateful, overwhelmed with gratitude for all of the people that voted for me from your community, which is actually was my community growing up. And so I just want to thank everybody. I promise I will continue to make decisions, putting children first, as I've tried to do in the past. And again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Trustee Maureen. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I just want to commend you and the community for coming together. It is so evident that you are all very united for the development of the whole child, and you see each of them thriving. And just thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you, President Lujan. Thank you, JS.
I think we're supposed to take a picture.
Can we do?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. May I please call up Mr. Will Lee? Can we do all of them at the same time? Okay. Mrs. Nguyen. And Mr. Diocampo.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thanks for coming. This is Mr. Dale Campos. Oh.
Okay. Thank you for your thinking on that. Thank you so much for the presentation. We are coming up on a break, and so I think we're going to shift things ever so slightly, and Principal Daniel Libman is going to call up her volunteers to be recognized first, so that way we can recognize them, and then people who may not want to stay for after the break can go home.
Exactly. We want to make sure you do that. And so we are always also very appreciative of our parent volunteers that come into our community and our school site to help out. We did our trunk or treat and we wouldn't have been able to do it. Our book fair, we would not be able to do it. And so I want to just show some gratitude for some of those parents. So can James Latu come up, please? And Stanley Chi. Juan Nim. And Priya Mercado. Okay. And I don't think Julius Ginto is here tonight, but we want to thank him as well.
Okie dokie. So we need to take a break for our captioners. So we are going to take a 10-minute recess. Thank you, everyone, for being here and all your preparation this evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. All right. Transitioning right into our next presentation this evening, a teaching and learning presentation from Skyline Elementary School. It's loading.
All right. Well, JS and I and Skyline, we just wanted to bring you guys those gifts. Thanks to Mrs. Ippolito and Mrs. Rodriguez for getting those together. And the juices in there represent POG. You have your POG, just so you know, there is a theme in there. Okay. All right. So, good evening, President Lujan, Board of Trustees, Dr. Moore, Cabinet, our Skyline staff and families, and members of the community. My name is Luann Daniel Libman, and I'm happy to present all the wonderful things happening at Skyline Elementary, where we continue to support our students with their learning, create a place where they can thrive, prepare them to navigate middle school so that they can have an impact on our community in a positive way. Skyline staff, students, and community members work together to implement the district's strategic plan and embrace the core values to support students in their journey to achieve the portrait of a graduate. Tonight, I will touch upon ways our school is working on the 4 aims: learn, thrive, navigate, and having an impact. Our district strategic plan has outlined these 5 priorities for the next 5 years. At Skyline Elementary, we focus on all the priorities and strive to always have exceptional instruction with a focus on equity. Teachers and students are working together to increase academic discourse, to provide solid Tier 1 and 2 instruction, and to implement instructional strategies that support the various learning styles of all students. We work to align our Skyline goals with our district's LCAP goals and strategic plan. Along with our mission to create a well-rounded child ready for middle school, we are focusing on widening our knowledge around learner-centered education. We are dedicated to being student-centered with an emphasis on the social emotional wellness of our students and staff. We are working on a school-wide implementation of student data binders, which allows for students to set goals and reflect on their academic achievement and wellness. Our site is continuing to increase academic discourse with a focus on math and science, utilizing Be Glad strategies with the support of our district TOSAs. In addition, we have a school-wide focus on the writing process, specifically on syntax and sentence structure. We're also working to increase attendance and improve on-time arrival. Our Skyline community is predominantly Filipino at 36%, and 32% of our families identify as Asian, 20% Hispanic Latinx, 7% white, and 2% African American, 2% Pacific Islander and Native Hawaiian, and 1% African American Indian and Alaska Native. Out of our 366 students, 51 identify as female and 49 as male. Skyline consists of 34% of students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged, which is 2% less than last year. 20% of our students are English language learners, and probably one of the biggest impacts this year is the increase by 3% of students with disabilities, and that represents 17% of our students. We also have a special education preschool program on our site, which currently has 12 students. Here is a snapshot of our attendance at the end of October. We're pleased to see that 78.8% of our students are in the green with satisfactory attendance. Yay. I know. 14.7% of our students are at risk, 5.8% are moderately chronic, and less than 1% are severely chronic, and no students are extremely chronic. So yay, let's keep that up. Okay, as you can see through this graphic, our attendance has greatly improved over the last 2 years and into our new school year. This can not only be attributed to our partnership with Everyday Labs, but by the hard work from our attendance clerk, Mrs. Valeda Rodriguez, along with her partner, Mrs. Ippolito. Mrs. Rodriguez is consistent with her messaging to our families. She follows up on absences, provides reports to our teachers, and works to educate our families on how impactful chronic absenteeism is on their child's education. In addition, our teachers also play a role. They hold attendance conferences with their families and continue to keep the message the same. Students who are in school excel more academically and socially than those who are not. Here we have our CAST state testing data comparing Skyline with our district in the state. 56% of our students met or exceeded standards in ELA and 54% in math, both outperforming both our district and the state. Our CAST scores are equal to the state at 31% and slightly below our district. This slide shows how our Skyline students have performed on the CAST for the last 3 years. Looking at our ELA data, we've made steady progress, which is reflective of the work teachers and students have put in to build their foundational skills. For math, we have bounced back from the drop we took last year and are approaching the stronger results we had in 21 and 22. Our last year's fifth grade students class struggled with their stamina, and we have to wonder how much of this had an impact on these test results. But what doesn't show in that 31% is that 60% of those fifth graders were actually on the cusp of achieving standard, and they were in that nearly met standard category. When looking at our overall performance, the leadership team is looking at writing as a factor and our students' ability to express their understanding of a concept through writing. This has become a school-wide priority, and we will use our professional development time to focus on academic discourse and GLAD strategies to help build these skills. Our 3 target groups displayed here are performing below our school as a whole. We are working to support our English learners with the implementation of the newcomer curriculum, integrated ELD, and our 3rd and 5th grade teachers are using AVT, and the teachers are being trained in GLAD strategies. Many of these strategies also support our students with disability, in addition to the individualized instructional support they receive. Here we have our DIBELS literacy screening data from the beginning of the year. This tool gives us helpful information on who might qualify for intervention support from our reading specialist. We use this data and perform additional assessments, which include the STAR reading, IXL, SIPS, and the CRLP spelling inventory, along with LPAC data. As I mentioned in the previous slide, we use our DIBELS as the beginning point and then explore more on the student needs through those additional assessments. The SIPS placement assessment allows us to form small groups within the classroom, as well as to determine who will qualify for our fabulous reading specialist, Andrea Kassler. In addition, Rebecca Fox provides math intervention using the Bridges in Mathematics program. Our K-2 teachers use Hegarty to support with phonological awareness. And last year, we began to focus on that academic discourse and had several professional development sessions around this important instructional tool. With this in mind, we decided as a school site to focus on one of the GLAD strategies, the Cognitive Content Dictionary. And most of our staff have attempted to implement this strategy in their classroom. We were fortunate to have Mrs. Christy Yee lead our literacy night this year, where she educated our families on the science behind reading and stressed that no device can take the place of a child being read to from a lap. Our teachers also led engaging literacy activities for our students and our family, and our local librarian came too. And I'd like to take a moment to highlight a program that has had one of the biggest impacts on school student learning, a math intervention teacher and coach. This snapshot of IXL data follows 11 students' growth in mathematics since the beginning of the year. The blue shows where they were in the beginning, and the red is from most recent assessment in October. It shows that all but one made a significant growth. This intervention program is fluid and is based upon their skill needs, not by their grade level. In addition, Ms. Fox has made an impact on the implementation of counting collections in our primary classrooms. When she first started, there were 2 classrooms using this strategy. Now we have 9. which is approximately 160 more students who are using it. County collections help students learn the meaning of numbers, as well as begin to talk about math, how they counted their collection, and defend their total to their partner. Our district's focus is on strengthening math skills and fostering academic discourse. By investing in a coach to support the implementation of effective instructional strategies, we are ensuring that students have the tools they need to succeed. I hope we can expand this program, as it will be financially difficult, but hopefully not impossible for our school site to continue it next year. Here are some examples of how we are bringing the portrait of a graduate to life at Skyline, particularly around the aim of learn. Mr. Dumpin and Ms. Devera had their fourth grade students write about why school is important to them and how it helps them to learn, thrive, navigate, and have an impact. Skyline teachers have been using data binders so that their students can set goals and reflect on how they impact their own learning. Our kindergarten teachers are starting a POG portfolio with writing examples that students will add to every year. We are seeing an increase in the amount of academic discourse, specifically in math, and not only in the pilot classrooms, but others as well. Students are learning to explain their math thinking to their partners and respectfully disagree when they spot an error. At Skyline, ensuring our students thrive is our top priority. Our PACS leaders model the values of respect, responsibility, safety, and kindness every day, earning their wings through positive actions. Each month, we celebrate character traits with assemblies based on the K-Cell framework, and we select weekly wing winners, host spirit days, and incorporate soul shop lessons to help students build skills in conflict resolution and emotional regulation. We're also excited to have a YSB counselor this year, and she's on our campus 2 days a week to offer additional support for our students' well-being. This year, with the help of our fabulous librarian, Michelle Cater, we've launched a student leadership team and bringing together 20 students from grade 3, 4, and 5, and they are working together to make Skyline an even kinder and cleaner place. And finally, we're proud to showcase that stunning mural created there by Yael Castro, which was painted last summer by our Genentech volunteers. Along with building strong academics, Skyline also works to build community. And here are some great photos from our fun fall events. We had over 200 families attend our PTA trunk or treat event, which thanks to our facilities, we have those great lights that provided a safe place on our playground. Our families came to celebrate with us at our annual Halloween parade. We had a pumpkin patch where every student took home a pumpkin, and over 124 of the students brought them back to be judged for the pumpkin decoration contest. With the help of Genentech and Hands-On Bay Area, we added a composting bin and a lending library to our garden this summer. We were excited to participate in the Ruby Bridges Walk to School this morning to honor her bravery and courage, and we had an amazing turnout. We've had the Daly City Fire Department come to help our students learn about fire safety. And picture here, you can see the principal of the day, Joseph, with me. And so I want to thank all of you who support us to make sure we continue to grow and learn. We are especially appreciative of our PTA, all of our parent volunteers in our classroom. Thank you to the district office, especially our technology department, our facilities department for always responding quickly to our request, Dr. Moore, cabinet, and our board of trustees. I am very appreciative to all the Skyline staff who step up every day to make sure our students feel safe and develop a love for learning. I am incredibly grateful for the dedication and compassionate staff who give their all every single day. Our teachers create engaging and supportive lessons, always making sure that every student knows they are valued and cared for at our school. Mrs. Zippolito and Mrs. Rodriguez provide exceptional customer service to our community, and they provide the best first aid to our sick or injured students. And I can't say enough about our amazing paraprofessionals who care and nurture our most vulnerable students to create a safe learning environment for them. I'm fortunate to work alongside this exceptional office team, custodial staff, paraprofessionals, school psychologists, the best LP around, and the hardworking students who inspire me daily. I can't thank them enough for their unwavering commitment and support. It's truly an honor to be their principal. So Skyline staff, stand up to be honored, and community members and our PTA. So thank you all very much. So thank you very much, and I welcome any questions you might have.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Fellow trustees, questions and comments?
I don't have any. This is a great report. I love your math, your targeted math. That's amazing. And again, thank you. And both schools are great. I've been to both, and I love your communities, and I love the teaching community as well. Everybody seems to love the kids, and the kids do well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the amazing presentation. It's clear, it's easy to follow, and it's very logically structured and make it simple to get grasp the key points. So thank you. I do have not question, but I want to point it out. You mentioned about the math intervention. That is a really amazing chart, that how you organize that. And then you mentioned about this is pilot, a math pilot, this math intervention work, it's on the grant. Is that?
It's not a grant. It's just we have, the district funds 50% of it. Our site has to fund the other 30%.
Okay.
So that part it is. And so I think we're just starting to engage in conversation about having more math specialists and coaches on our campuses. So in a sense, it is kind of like a pilot program. It's very successful, by the way.
Yes.
And so I just think that every school in the district deserves to have a person that is able to do that for their students.
Wonderful. Thank you for articulating that clearly. And then that is also like, I would love Dr. Moore to consider and then do more research.
So every year we engage in a process. We'll look at data, we'll make decisions. Soon we're going to get our allocation for the LCFF supplemental funds. And we're going to have to make some tough decisions this year. But yes, both schools have showed some progress for the last couple of years. And part of the challenge is the district's been able to, with funding, to provide a 0.5. But we heard Principal Sampayan say it very articulately. It's difficult to try to find a halftime at elementary. It's not like secondary where we can do periods and stuff. So, and then the funding that they have to make tough decisions at site council to redirect funds. So we'll look at that and see what's going on, but the district did put that in the last couple of years. So we're thankful for the pilot and how it's going at both Skyline and JS.
Thank you very much. And then this comment is for the district, for Dr. Moore and Keith. Thank you so much for structure. Now we have two elementary school for the PowerPoint, and we can clearly see the consistency of the structure of the presentation, which is super helpful. So thank you so much for the consistent themes there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for the goodie bag. I'm kind of starting to look forward to it. I mean,
You're welcome.
last time we went, we got Doritos and something else, but I was happy to get it. It's always, you always get to be the kid again when you go back. But, I love visiting the school when the children they're always attending. But I have observed lately that I'm thinking about the kids' penmanship. How is that structured? When we use so much computers, are our children learning in school? And in what grade are we showing them to hold a pencil and then start
That
printing?
starts day one, and well, we have a transitional kinder classroom, so they work on those skills, and it starts in kindergarten. We're holding we're helping them with that. Because we can't have students, because there's so much power from taking what you're thinking and putting it onto paper and pencil. The students need to consistently do the writing as well. So they do writing with paper and pencil all the way through going from transitional kinder to 5th grade. They use in combination, but you can't take away the paper and pencil, because that helps get their thoughts out in a clear way.
I always worry if they'll be able to sign their name at some point. It really is a concern of mine. And I watch the little ones with their little finger and
oh yes, yeah.
And the notes at home, make sure you plug in your computer.
Yeah, well, they do practice skills at home when they're working on their computer. We use the Google Classroom, but all the students practice with their penmanship as well.
Just a huge thank you for the wonderful presentation. Both presentations tonight were absolutely beautiful, just gorgeous. So thank you. And thank you for your work to bring together such beautiful communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, looks like we have another presentation. Our next presentation is a performance management presentation on CASP.
Do I get to introduce myself? Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, South San Francisco Unified School Community. I'm Mary Ann Hugh. I'm a Director of Student Performance, Program Evaluation, and Instructional Interventions, and I am here to present on our CASP and CAST results from spring 2024. I always love coming after two wonderful presentations from our school sites. Mine will not be as excited, and there are no pom-poms in the room anymore. But I will do them just to keep this consistent. So tonight we'll cover our results from the spring 2024, and then we'll look at multi-year data across both the English and math, and then for our science tests. You heard a lot about our strategic plan and how that is showing up in our schools, so I don't need to cover that part. So on to the data. This is a look at our English language arts performance, students who met or exceeded standard by grade level. Students in grades 3 through 8 and 11 take the English language arts and mathematics tests in the spring. So the blue on top is our district, and then orange is San Mateo County, and then the gray is the state. So for the English language arts by grade level, you can see that our district students are for the most part outperforming the state, and we are not outperforming the county, and there are gaps there between our performance and other county comparison for English, and then this is for math. So you can see a similar pattern here. One of the other things to point out is that we start strong in grade 3, and as students matriculate through our system, you can see that our rate of students meeting and exceeding standard does decrease over time. This is another look at our data, again by grade level. This one, I showed all the performance levels. So red is students who did not meet the standard, yellow is the nearly met, green is met, and then blue is exceeded. And one of the things to note there is how many of our students are not meeting standard. So across the grade levels for English language arts, you can see that there are some significant number of students, almost a third in some grade levels, who are not meeting standard. So that is certainly an area that we are looking to address in our schools.
This is for mathematics. And again, you can see that red or the students not met, and that increases as students go through our system and get into those later grade levels. The other thing I do want to point out is that in grade 11, that test is a college-ready test. So it's at an Algebra 2 level, and I'll show you in a little bit. Not all of our students have completed Algebra 2 by the time they are taking that test, and that may have an impact on their ability to meet standard on this test too. So one of the other areas that we want to look at is how our students in our target student groups are doing compared to our district aggregate or all students. So this first one is our Hispanic Latino students, our English learners, and all students compared. So blue on top is Hispanic Latino, the yellow is English learners. One of the things to note here is the disparity between our English learners and Hispanic Latino and all students groups. So you can see there we have some significant gaps that tend to widen as students get older in our system. And that's also because students who are coming in later grade levels have a lot more catching up to do as far as their English language development skills in order to meet grade level expectations for those tests. This is that same data, English language arts, by grade level for student groups. And this time we're looking at socioeconomically disadvantaged and students with disabilities. This is for mathematics. So again, that first set of student groups is our Hispanic Latino and our English learners. With mathematics, you can see that same disparity as we saw with English language arts. Remember that with the math test, there is a lot of language that students need to have in order to be able to demonstrate their understanding of the content, especially as they're getting into those higher grades of math. There's a lot of emphasis on communicating their reasoning in mathematics. And so for our English learners, that's an incredible bar to jump over. And then that same data are CASP math scores for our socioeconomically disadvantaged and students with disabilities groups compared to all students. One of the other things I wanted to point out is that as students go through our system from grades 3 through to grade 11, the disparity between our English learners and our students with disabilities and that all student aggregate gets larger as well. So that is an area that we are looking at, like how do we continue to provide those supports when students are making their way to our secondary schools. I promised you some data around CASP math scores by course level for our 11th graders. Again, keeping in mind that that math test at the grade 11 is an Algebra 2 level. Our high schools take the math or take our CASP tests in mid-March. So they are missing approximately 2.5 months of school of content when they are taking that test. So if you look, our students who are in Algebra 1 are not meeting or exceeding the standard. Students who are in geometry a few are, but most are not. And then what's interesting is that Algebra 2, which includes our 2 honors, 25% of them are meeting or exceeding standard, but that means 75% are not. So again, part of that may be because they just haven't gotten all of that instruction yet. And that is something where we do want to see that those numbers move and progress and increase as we are getting more of our students into Algebra 2 at younger grade levels. With the 3-year math requirement now in place for our schools, we do expect that students are going to be more of them will be reaching Algebra 2. So students who've completed Algebra 2 who are in higher levels of math before they get to 11th grade or while they are in 11th grade are doing well on that math test. So again, if they've completed Algebra 2, they should be able to meet that standard for the Algebra 2 11th grade CASP math test. And you can see that 75% of them are meeting that standard, meeting or exceeding. So this is a look at our CASP ELA across 2 years. So going back to the spring 22 And then spring 23 is the kind of the dot in the middle, and then to the class of the test from the spring 24. And you can see that there are some ups and downs, but for the most part, we are seeing some improvement in our scores across our grade levels. So yellow means maintained, which means plus or minus a few percentage points. Green means they've increased over 5 percentage points from 22 to 24. And then red means they've declined a little bit more. So this is for English language arts. And this is the aggregate for each school, and then the district at the bottom. And then this is for mathematics. So similar trends here. We are seeing more improvement in, even if it's just a few points, so a lot of yellow dots you can see there, but we are starting to see our math data, our scores are increasing a little bit as we are moving from 22 to 23 to 24. And then science. So new this year, science is going to be on our dashboard, our school dashboard, which will be released later this month, actually. And so as we look at these science tests, we can start to think about what that dashboard is going to look like. So the science test is one where it's an aggregate. So students learn the content for the science test over 3 years. So in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then they take the test in 5th grade, and then 6th and 7th and 8th, and then they take the test in 8th grade. And then in high school, they may take the biological sciences, the physical science, the earth science over 3 or 4 years, and then they take that test in their senior year. So it's not a 1-year thing. It's talking about, or it's looking at the content over many years, and then the students take it in those grade levels. So you can see here how our schools do in these 3 grade levels. Again, there is some red there, but one of the things to note here is that we're seeing a lot of yellow, which is the nearly met. So that means we are making progress, and it's now a matter of moving those students from the yellow or nearly met into the met category. So as we are looking at our science implementation in year 2 and in year 1 for our secondary, this is an area where we would like to see, we're going to be watching for those improvements as well. And then for our target student groups, you can see here our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, our students with disabilities, our Hispanic, Latino, and our EL students, our English learners, compared to the district aggregate. And again, those same gaps that we saw with our English language arts and our mathematics, we can see in our student groups here. And then this is a look at our multi-year progress. So from 22 spring until last spring, where our CAST results have come in those 2 years. So just to summarize our data, our goal is for at least 80% of our students to be meeting or exceeding that standard in English language arts and in mathematics across all grade levels that are testing. We haven't gotten there yet. So from a performance management standpoint, put the little red dot there, we're not there yet. But one of the things to note is that we are making some progress. We do have some schools and student groups that are moving. And it's a matter of continuing to do so. So you heard from 2 of our principals today, some of the strategies that they are using and some of the data that they are using to help them and help their teachers support the learning that's happening in the classrooms and move those to see improvements in those results as well. A couple of key takeaways. We are seeing some of those gains in math and science with implementation, and you heard about the focus on academic discourse and math reasoning. That certainly has an impact on their math and it has an impact on their science performance as well. Academic discourse is a huge area across all our content areas, but when you look at the test, the CASP, ELA, and math in particular, along with science, there's a lot of emphasis on writing and communicating reasoning and communicating an idea. And so giving our students lots of opportunities to practice that, we should see some results over the course over the three tests as well. We do see stronger performance on CASP in early grades. And then as students come through our system, we see some performance gaps widen, especially for our students with disabilities and our English learners. And then a couple of things to look forward to. The California School Dashboard, the state has been moving up the release of that. And so we're looking at a release for the public, or for the public release of the dashboard will actually happen next week. So we'll have some updates for you then. As I mentioned earlier, science is going to be part of that dashboard now, along with a new student group. So they are adding long-term English learners as another student group there. And so we'll see what that data will look like on our dashboard, and we'll have more analysis for you later. And then in 2025, date yet to be determined, they will be releasing some growth metrics. So this is something that the state has been working on and then had to pause on due to a couple of years where the data was inconsistent because of the COVID pandemic and some inconsistencies in testing over those years. So we are now back to having enough data, 3 years of data, in order to generate a growth metric. So they'll be looking at and publishing the data around how students are growing in terms of their performance on ELA and mathematics. So that will come out sometime in 25. And so we'll be looking at that data as well and have more to share. So, thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Do we have questions or comments?
Thank you. Thank you always for this amazing presentation, very clear, and then many of the takeaway points, which is very clear. And I really appreciate, while the data may not be what we hoped, as you indicate in this takeaway part, I appreciate the level of transparency and the openness that we put ourselves out there, vulnerable. And so I really appreciate that, the way you present. Thank you. So I do have a question on page 7, that slide, as you mentioned earlier, like when the student coming in early on the early grade and then move up, their math performance is not improving, right? The more of the percentage on the standard not met compared to the standard met or exceeded. So my question is, and I understand the 11th grade because it's on that test is college level test. I do understand that part, you explained very well. So my question is, what specific intervention are we considered to address this decline on this math performance?
It's decline is a little bit different. So, oh, you mean the decline from 3rd grade through to 11th grade?
Yeah.
So that is, yes. So there is a difference in performance, certainly. We see it both in English language arts and in mathematics, but it is certainly a greater disparity in mathematics. Part of that is, I think, due to the amount of emphasis on practicing that happens at the different grade levels. So 3rd grade is the first time that students are taking that test. So there's a lot of attention paid to how do you take that test. As the students get older, the problems get more complex and students are being asked to do more things with the mathematics. So you heard Principal Daniel Lippman talk about being able to talk about math reasoning and manipulate numbers and things like that. When that gets to higher grade levels, that becomes more like setting up equations. And so not just solving a problem, but being able to set up the equation and then being able to communicate why you set it up that way. So there's a level of, again, that communicating reasoning that's more complex as the students get older. And we need to make sure that our math classes and our math curriculum are reflecting that level of complexity so that students are familiar with that and know what to do when they get to that test. So that is an area that we are looking at. Certainly that is part of our look at different curricula. And, with the math pilot, for example, you hear the principals and the teachers talking about, again, that communicating of reasoning, that communicating about mathematics. And that is very much part of the test as students get older and older with mathematics test in particular.
No, I don't have any questions. I want to thank you for the report. I think it's so important for us to gather the data and we know where we are, we know where we want to be. And so we're moving in that direction and I appreciate it.
I just had one question. I always find you're so insightful and careful and accurate, and I appreciate that. And I do remember you saying something about geometry, and my question was, do the children get geometry at Algebra 2?
Yes. So traditionally, the math sequence goes Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. And so ninth graders start in Algebra 1, and then they would go to Geometry, and then they would go to Algebra 2. So students who've completed Algebra 1 before they get to high school would start in Geometry or Geometry Honors, and then go to Algebra 2 or 2 Honors. So by the time they are 11th graders, most of our students have seen geometry, and they are looking at either, depending on their success with their Algebra 1 and geometry class, they should be going into 11th grade as Algebra 2. So they are seeing the geometry before they get to that CASP test for the most part.
It's good to hear. And I wanted to also mention that I had a chance to see the math pilot at one of the schools, and I was so excited. So when you said that when they're with their math, the new math, they're able to transition well into the science aspect of the thought processes. And I thought that was a very interesting observation, because as I witnessed the sixth graders with the new math pilot, the children were able to arrive at a few things: communicating with each other, which works for their socialization in a way, and the problem solving. And I thought that was so exciting at this juncture when we're just starting out. I thought that was so wonderful to see, and I'll never forget it. In fact, she gave me one of these and I was so thrilled, because now, according to this, I could solve any problem in my life, okay? Just put it down on it. But, it's nice to see learning so come alive in other ways just by meeting the math issue. So I appreciate you for putting all this down so easily to understand. Thank you.
Yes, there is a lot of transferable skills between the math and the science. The science test includes some data analysis and then communicating about that. And so, they are able to see those skills transfer on the test as well. That's the hope.
So, Mr. Harris, I understand you have questions, but you've already, you're only allowed, members of the public are only allowed to speak one time, and you spoke this evening. But if you email your questions to us, we can have staff respond to you. So I don't want you to feel like, your questions will never go answered, okay? And you have our email addresses, so please do feel free to email us your questions, and then we'll definitely get answers to you. I just really want to thank you for the transparent look. I think one of my colleagues shared, it's not, the most amazing, some of it's not the most amazing. There are bright spots, but it's an honest look at where we're at. And it's having that understanding of where we're at and developing the understandings of why we're where we're at, that we can push to the next level. So thank you for the work you're doing and the beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another presentation on the 2025 general obligation bond refunding. Mr. O.
Yes, thank you, President Lujan. So this evening we have Ms. Sato, our financial advisor from ISOM Advisors, and Ms. Jacobson, our underwriter from RBC Capital Markets here tonight to present on this topic. They'll be here to share some information about the bond refunding, and the district staff has volunteered to take on this task as good stewards of the public funds. The purpose of this refunding is to reduce the debt service payments due on some of the outstanding bonds to save our taxpayers some money. Ms. Sato will be providing the estimated taxpayer savings in her presentation. And then afterwards, the board will be asked to approve a resolution for the sale and issuance of the general obligation refunding. And then with that, I want to welcome Ms. Sato and Ms. Jacobson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. O. Board of Trustees, Dr. Moore, Cabinet, and the South San Francisco Unified School District community. I feel very loud. I'm not sure if I am. I feel like I need okay. All right, so good evening. Thank you so much for making time for us. I know you have a lot on your agenda. On the first slide here, we wanted to talk a little bit about the history of bond authorizations. District voters have approved 3 bond measures, one in 1997, another in 2010, and another in 2022. The 1997 bonds have been completely repaid. And here, really, the highlight on this slide is the strong support, consistent support from your community. The district voters approved $436 million in November of 2022. There is still $286 million in authorized but unissued bonds remaining under that authorization. However, tonight we're not going to be talking about issuing any more bonds for Measure T. This is really an opportunity to look at the outstanding bonds that the district has to refund or refinance them for taxpayer savings. So on this next slide, you can see all of the outstanding bonds that the district has. There are 4 series of bonds. The first series really is going to get repaid next year, so it's very short. The second one that's bolded, that's the one that is eligible to be refunded in September of 2025. There are 2 other series of bonds, but those are not going to be eligible to be refunded for a few more years. On the next slide, we have information regarding the refunding savings, and I was going to pass it over to Ms. Jacobson to talk about that.
Good evening, everyone. So, the dollars and cents behind the refunding. Of course, the only reason you would pursue refinancing any of your outstanding bonds is because you could potentially take advantage of lower interest rate environments and take savings, away from the investors who are earning the returns and pass them on to your community who deserve the opportunity to have lower tax payments every year. And so, as Makiko mentioned, the bonds that you issued in 2016 are coming eligible to be refinanced in September of next year. What we're proposing and pursuing this evening is to do a refinancing that's a little less conventional than what you've done in the past, which is called a forward delivery, where we're proposing that you lock in interest rates this January, knowing that you can't close the bonds until June. So you're going to lock in rates about 5 months early under this scenario. And that does come at a little bit of an interest rate concession to investors because a typical bond closing is 2 to 4 weeks, kind of like when you buy a house. When you extend that period, investors want a little bit of a cushion against market movement. In this case, it's about 0.3% is what we're estimating the premium you pay. The market moved almost that much just last week. So it gives you a little context as to the pros and cons of pursuing that. But there's a lot of market uncertainty going on, especially in light of last week's election. And this opportunity to lock in rates in January can help bird in the hand lock in savings for taxpayers when you know they exist, rather than expose them to whatever happens between now and next September in the financial markets. So the bottom line savings as we stand here today are just shy of $3.7 million to pass on to your community. Because we're financial people, like to look at the present value of those dollars. So doing a PV formula back, that's 2.7 million in today's money. And then we further complicate it by looking at what that number is as a percent of the bond, the amount that you're refinancing. So this would be a refunding of 56 million of bonds. The percent comes out to 4.32. The reason that's relevant is that most market industry guidance says that you should pursue a refunding if it's at least 3%. So we do have a nice comfort margin above what most issuers consider a minimum threshold to move forward. I will caveat that this is interest rates as we stand here today. Hopefully, at the end of the day, you'll get here or something better. But again, we're at the whim of the market between now and January. The other thing I'll point out is that this refinancing gives you an opportunity to potentially pay off some of your principal sooner. The original bonds were pretty delayed principal bonds. And so there could be an opportunity to even pay off principal of the previous bonds sooner. We're not factoring that into these numbers. It would actually boost up the savings from what we're showing you here today. And the other thing that this helps with is over the next year or two, we could bring up principal on the existing bonds, and it'll help us manage your overall tax rate on your community a little bit better. I'll pass it back to Makita.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. One more thing I wanted to add here is that the refunding we're looking at has a par amount of up to 70 million. Previously, we showed that there was about 123, I believe, million in bonds outstanding. And it's because that every single maturity of these bonds have different borrowing rates. And what we did is we looked at every maturity and we tried to see where there will be bonds with refunding opportunities. So we don't want to refund bonds that are currently locked in at interest rates that are already below what we can lock in today. So that's why there's a discrepancy in the amount of bonds outstanding and the amount of bonds we're refunding. All right, so legal documents. So tonight the board is considering a resolution that would authorize the sale of refunding bonds. The resolution also specifies a number of parameters: the not to exceed par amount of up to 70 million, the maximum term, which means that you can't extend the repayment term of the bonds more than what it is now, and a not to exceed underwriter's compensation of $4 per bond. I would say that the bullet on the bottom is the most important. Just because the board authorizes these bonds tonight, it does not mean that the district needs to issue the refunding bonds. If the market shifts away from us, and in Dr. Moore and Mr. O's judgment, the savings are no longer enough to justify moving forward with the refunding, it doesn't move forward. So I wanted to make that clear. You have a big, huge packet tonight because this resolution has a number of attachments. The most important one being the preliminary official statement. That is the main disclosure document that gets provided to investors at the time of pricing. All of these documents are being approved in form, meaning that as we get closer to pricing or after pricing, they will be finalized by Dr. Moore and Mr. O. So right now they're in essentially draft form. Oh, and then the good faith estimates. turn it back to Catherine.
In the resolution, we're obligated to provide the board and the community good faith estimates as to the borrowing cost of the debt. And so what we've done is called those out here clearly in the slide. While the not to exceed principal is 70 million, we realistically today, it would only be about 56 or 57 million in principal. Today's borrowing rate is 3.28%. The cost of issuance all in is estimated about 450,000. That number is already taken out of the savings figure. So the savings you saw is net of this. In terms of total payments, debt is still cheap right now. As I mentioned, just over 3%. So the total repayment is estimated at 82 million, which is about 1.5 to 1. So about 50 cents for every dollar that you borrow. And to wrap things up, we have the financing schedule. The resolutions in front of you tonight for consideration of approval. If that moves forward, the district staff's going to meet with the rating agencies. These are the credit agencies that give you a credit score on your debt and your bonds. We'll meet with them in December, right before the holidays. Get everything ready to go for the new year. Get out of the gate and lock in interest rates in mid-January. And then again, as I mentioned, it's about a 5.5 month sale to close period, and close the bonds in early June. That wraps up our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Do we have questions or comments this evening? Trustee Richardson, go for it.
Thank you for this presentation. And I was looking at these numbers and they were making a lot of sense when you made them come to life. Now, it says right here on page 4, I believe. Yeah, it says $56 million, but what will be the actual amount that you will be refunding?
Apologies, I don't have it printed, but I do have it in front of me. So in the current market, the amount of old bonds that are part of the numbers here is 62.7 million. And the amount of new bonds you'd be selling is 56.8. Would actually lower the amount of debt you have outstanding by 8 to 10 million.
This is an old bond. I forgot what it was. Was it J or something like that?
It's from the
Measure
2010 Measure J.
Approximately at which point can we consider the current bond, which was, we pulled out 150 million. At which point can we consider refunding for that bond?
That's a great question. You know, typically what happens is that there is a 10-year period where you're not quite eligible to refund or refinance bonds. That's a typical timeline for municipal bonds.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everything is real clear now.
Great, thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments this evening? Well, thank you very much for the informative presentation. And also thank you for keeping such a close eye on the market and taking such good care of our district. So thank you. Okay, so related will be our first action item this evening, which is Resolution 2454 for sale and issuance of general bond refunding opportunity.
So move.
Waiving the reading. Do we want to waive the reading? I don't know that we want read the whole thing. It's a long resolution.
And waive the reading.
Yeah, I don't know
Of
that we
the
want to read.
resolution.
Yeah, it's like 198 pages. All right, so we have
I
a,
can read it if you want, but we'll be here all night.
so we have a first from trustee Murray. Do we have a second? Second by trustee Richardson. Roll call, please.
Trustee Shay? Yes. Trustee Murray?
Yes.
Trustee Richardson?
Yes.
President Lujan?
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Very exciting. Okay, moving right into item P with consent agenda. The following items are submitted for board approval. One motion will authorize action for those items so designated. Do we have questions or comments, or do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
So first by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, so this brings us to 1A, update on safe school plans. Director Sievers, thank you for hanging in there with us.
Thank you very much. Good evening to our trustees, Superintendent Moore, our cabinet, and to our diehards left with us in the room today. So I'm Ryan Sievers. I'm the Director of Student Services. I'm here to give a brief update. I don't think you want presentation number 5, unless you do. We can do that too. 6, pardon me. So we had quite a discussion at our October community forum in which we addressed various topics within the realm of safety. Among the safety topics, we spoke about the county's Big 5 emergency preparedness protocol. We also spoke briefly about our safety plans and how that fits in with the Big 5. And so what I'm doing tonight is just to do the annual certification process that all schools have completed their plans. All plans have been submitted. We have actually extensively reviewed those plans before moving them on to the San Mateo County Office of Education, the Safe and Supportive Schools Division. So it is in the county's hands now for review. We will get feedback, we'll make improvements, and then the process will be complete for the current school year. So as a reminder, we moved our plans over to the document tracking system platform. And so all of the plans have 2 sections. There is a public and an internal section. The public section deals more with various protocols and positive school climate type things that we are doing on that side of safety. And the internal is more of the tactical, immediate response, evacuations, things that the schools need to know to process efficiently in an emergency situation. So all of those meet the basic criteria of these elements. So it's the National Incident Management System, the California Standardized Emergency Management System, California Education Code, the San Mateo County Office of Ed's own criteria in which they are taking various factors and putting those into the templates that we follow. And then of course, our own board policy and admin regs. So with that, I will conclude in just simply saying that I certify that we have completed this requirement. And happy to take any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the update.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, action items continued. Our first item, childcare CCTR contract and resolution 2455. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So moved. Waive the reading of the resolution.
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. Roll call, please.
Trustee Shay? Yes. Trustee Murray?
Yes.
Trustee Richardson?
What did I say? Yes? Yes.
President Lujan?
Yes, motion carries 4-0. All right, going into 1B, approval of district's updated board bylaws and policies. Do we have any questions or comments on any of the 8 policies before us? No? Okay, well, I just want to thank our board bylaw committee for the work they're doing. Thank you. And then do we have a motion?
So moved. And waive the second reading.
Second?
All right, first by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? All right, motion carries 4-0. Item 2A, approval of the K-12 Strong Workforce Program Grant for CTE programs. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Moving into human resources, item 3A, approval of the MOU with Cal State University for employment of students with intern credentials for the 24 through the 27 school year. Do you have questions or comments on this MOU? Motion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I'm going to go with a first by trustee Richardson and a second by trustee Murray. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0. 3B, another MOU with California State University for unpaid internship placements for university students for the 24 through 27 school years. Questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a first by trustee Richardson, and I'll go with the second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 3C, approval of the MOU with Notre Dame, Namur University, not the one far away, the close one, for employment with students with intern credentials for the 24 through 29 school years.
I have a question. Is this the first year we're using Notre Dame, or have we used them and I just didn't? So you, the first time? No. Okay, that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 3D, approval of MOU with Notre Dame de Namur University for unpaid internship placements of university students for the 24 through 29 school years. Questions or comments or a motion?
So move.
Second.
First by trustee Shay, second by trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 3E, approval of MOU with University of San Francisco for the employment of students with intern credentials for the 24-25 school year. Questions or comments on this?
So moved.
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 3F, approval of MOU with University of San Francisco for unpaid internship placements of university students for the 24-25 school year. Questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, so I have a first by trustee Richardson, a second by trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 3G, approval of the Strategic Plan Empowered Educators Talent Pipeline Partnerships Program for the 25-26 school year. Questions or comments?
So move.
Do you have a question, trustee Richardson? Oh, so you're the second? So I've got a first by trustee Shay and a second by trustee Richardson, who was quick on the draw.
All in favor?
Huh? Sorry about that. Oh, it's hot in here, you're right. Sorry, I totally drew a
First
blank.
by her,
First by
second
trustee.
yeah.
Okay, so first by trustee Richardson, second by trustee Murray. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, 3H, whew, a lot of items. Approval of the MOU with the South San Francisco Classroom Teachers Association for elementary science instructional innovator cohort. Whoa. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, so I've got a first by trustee Richardson, a second by trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, business services. 4B, approval of change order number 6 on the HVAC project, package B, and adoption of resolution 2453. Questions or comments on this item?
So move.
Do we have a second? All right, so first by trustee Shay, second by trustee Richardson. All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of change order number 4 on the HVAC project package A. Do we have questions or comments on this? Oh, wait, sorry, we were supposed to do a roll call. Totally my bad. It's a resolution.
Oh, sorry, you're looking.
So whoever made the first should have made with a waiving of
The reading.
and
Of what?
Which one?
4B,
4B.
there's a resolution attached to it.
I think you made the,
Oh,
should
did
have
I?
been with
Was
a
I?
waiving of the reading.
So
Do you want to amend your motion?
Yeah, amend my motion, waive the reading.
Okay. All right, so we have our first by trustee Shay, our second by trustee Richardson. Roll call, please. Thank you for catching that.
Trustee Shay,
Yes.
trustee Murray,
Aye.
trustee Richardson,
Yes.
President Lujan.
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Thank you for catching that again. That would have been bad. All right, 4C, approval of change order number 4 on the HVAC project package A. Questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 4D, approval of agreement with Underwood and Rosenblum Incorporated for topographical surveying services under the Measure T bond program. Questions or comments on this? Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to know, why are we doing that? I know we're really looking at and measuring the properties, but I saw a picture of this in our paperwork, and I just wondered why we needed to have a topography assessment. Does anybody know?
Good evening. This is Lori Shelton, the director of the bond program. I am online. I wanted to just respond to Trustee Richardson's question. The reason we do topography surveys is that we need to understand the locations of our underground utilities, as well as sewer lines, plumbing lines, etc. That just helps us map out the information we need to do as we do the assessment for our projects.
Thank you. I know you're very thorough and you're finding out a lot of things. And I appreciate that because it's probably been the first time that a very close look at our facilities with such scrutiny and correct procedure. So thank you so much, Director Shelton.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Director Shelton, for hanging in there. Do we have any other questions or comments? All right, then do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
All right, so we have a first by trustee Murray. We have a second by trustee Shay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 4E, approval of amendment number 3 to the agreement with Hamilton and Aiken Architects for the El Camino High School Central Kitchen Project under the Measure T bond program. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So move.
All right, so I'm going to go with a first by trustee Richardson, a second by trustee Shay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okie dokie. Moving on to item 4F, approval of proposal with Plum Architects for services on the special education classroom alteration project at El Camino High School. Questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
We have a first by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement with BFK Engineers Incorporated for the Los Cerritos Elementary School Modernization Project under the Measure T bond program. Do we have any questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do you have a second? So first by trustee Shay, second by trustee Richardson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 4H, approval of proposal with American Asphalt Repair and Resurfacing Company Incorporated for asphalt repairs and replacement at Hillside. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
So first by trustee Murray, second by trustee Shay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of proposal with Proposo Engineering Incorporated for asphalt repairs and replacement at Martin Elementary. Do we have questions or comments on this item?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
First by trustee Murray, second by trustee Richardson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 4J, approval of proposal with Simmons Industry Incorporated for the new fire alarm panel at El Camino High School. Do we have questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a question, trustee Richardson, or did you want to? Okay, so we'll go with a first from trustee Richardson and a second from trustee Murray. Okay, do we, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Great job with the action items. This brings us to review of future agenda items and meetings. Do we have any requests for future agenda items or changes to upcoming meetings? All right, I'm not hearing a major plethora of comments, so I'm going to transition into the summary of board directives.
There are none.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, good and welfare. Who would like to begin this evening?
I just want to thank the community again for voting me back into office. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Share the excitement of the Bell game this past Saturday. For the second year, South San Francisco High School got to take home the Bell, and that was so exciting. El Camino's had it 4 times, but so it was still exciting game. And I visited Monteverde with Dr. Moore, and we had a wonderful time at the Assembly rally. The principal, Mert, was involved playing songs. Finally, visited the completed bathroom, which was about right after, during the pandemic. It was just horrible then, but it's beautiful now. Then I voted last Tuesday. Then we visited, the following day, we visited Principal DeRossi at her high school or middle school, and while she was at a workshop, and we viewed the classroom, visited the music classrooms, and the students played a song for us. But the violins, the guitars, the keyboard, the flute, the trombone, all of those instruments are playing, and the classroom is full. It's just an amazing presentation just for us walking in and saying hello. So, and I went to Dia de los Muertos with the South City Folklorico, and but it was the class of the Folklorico. And of course, Mr. Cruz puts on such a really great show. And, you know, they're just so in tune. The parents, the families were all crammed in there in the cafeteria. I don't know how they did it. But I got a chance to see also Mrs. Salo's classroom with the math pilot. And that was a great presentation. We just walked in and the children was so engaged, and I was just so happy to see that everybody was catching on. And that was always my worry. Can we get this off the ground? But the kids are so engaged. I was just tickled. So that's that's my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Richardson. As my colleagues noted, it is Thanksgiving is upon us. And so it is that period of time where we take a moment to express our gratitude for what we're grateful for. And I am deeply grateful for this beautiful community and our incredibly dedicated staff for the work you're doing for our students. This agenda alone, I mean, the number of items we passed from human resources and business services shows just an incredible amount of work that is happening. And I just want to commend our entire community for just the incredible support you provide to our students and their families.